Hello, everyone, and welcome to our exclusive masterclass series AI in Procurement by Intellect Design Arena. How AI digital experts are revolutionizing enterprise commerce is something that we'll be covering today. I'm Utkarsh Bali. I take care of marketing at Intellect Design Arena, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Before we begin, here are a few housekeeping notes. All participants will remain on mute throughout the session. You'll be able to hear the presenters through your system speakers by default. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to send them via chat box. We'll be happy to address them during the Q&A session. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. We're delighted to have Mrs. Subarna Sri Day, Assistant Vice President at Intellect Design Arena, and Mr. Shubham Srivastava, Senior Sales Engineer at Liferay. Together, they will share how Intellect Design Arena and Liferay are helping enterprises transform procurement and revolutionize enterprise commerce with AI digital experts. With that, over to you, Subarna and Shubham.
Hi, thank you for having us here, and we're very excited to be. Uh, Before we get on with the more domain oriented stuff, let's talk for a minute about who we are and what are our credentials. Intellect is the world's only next gen composable and contextual financial technology company. For over 3 decades, we focused on one clear core purpose, and that is to be reducing the complexity and designing true business transformation. Today, our footprint is in over 61 countries. We are powering over 500 global customers, and we are backed by a strong powerhouse team of over 6,500 plus associates worldwide. But what does all of this mean for your bottom line? It means absolute implementation certainty and an incredible 30% lower cost to ownership from consumer to corporate banking to advanced AI products. Our full spectrum capabilities are entirely rewriting the industry standards. Now, this ecosystem has been fueled by over 200,000 hours of annual research done in our global R&D hubs, one of which is 8012, the world's very first transformation design center for the financial technology. We aren't just here to deploy the product, we are here to drive business growth by completely transforming your enterprise, your experience, and your operations. Now, let's hear from Shubham about Liferay.
Thanks, Subarna. Liferay is a critical element that we are using in this procurement solution that we've built on top of the ICPX and all the other solutions that Subarna will be taking to you in the subsequent slides of this webinar. So we just want to cover what Liferay is as an organization and as a product. As an organization, Liferay has been adding value to the IT landscape since 2004. We are present in multiple regions. We have a global presence in multiple countries, and centrally we are headquartered in Los Angeles, and we have our regional headquarters also. Like for India, we have our headquarter based out in Bangalore, but we have presence in multiple countries over different kinds of regions. Now, Liferay has been used as a digital platform. It's basically a horizontal platform on which we are building different kinds of solutions, and hence we have a huge customer base that have implemented various kinds of solutions on top of the platform. Now, these solutions vary with respect to the kinds of businesses that are there, with the kind of industry for which we are creating some use cases, and that is where the real value gets added, because the platform is tailored in such a way that it's agnostic of the industry or agnostic of the kind of use case that you want to develop on top of the platform. And that is where we have different kinds of customers globally, starting from enterprise to government customers as well, and a huge network of partners as well who are assisting customers deliver these kinds of solutions on top of the platform. And owing to the platform's capabilities, we've been consistently um, uh, recognized by different analyst reports as well. Analyst reports for commerce, analyst reports for hybrid CMS, headless CMS, intranet. So we've been a part of all these different kinds of analyst reports because of the horizontal heritage of the kinds of use cases that we build on top of our platform.
Great. That was informative, Shubham. And you spoke about something. You spoke about the product Liferay catering to and being agnostic to the users, which means that you could solution things for whether it be an enterprise or a government or a private player and so on and so forth, right? And this is where we pick it up from. The product that we're talking about here, ICPX, has a lot to do in the modern enterprise commerce arena. Now, before we go deep diving into the solution again, let's take a look at what does it really mean? What is the modern enterprise commerce? And if you look at it through the first principles thinking, what does it bring to the table? Well, what it brings is a sheer diversity of the number of players and the types of players that are involved and the nuances of it all. In the high stakes of the corporate and the government procurement, well, one size fits no one. On the buying side, we aren't just dealing with standard corporate purchasing. We are talking about massive government entities operating under rigid, tightly knotted procurement frameworks, alongside with multiple national corporations who are managing complex internal hierarchies, matrices, compliances, etc. Now, to serve both of them, our sellers network also needs to be equally diverse. It spans from the global OEMs or original equipment manufacturers offering mass scale production down to authorized tier 1 enterprise resellers and even localized brick and mortar suppliers, providing critical on the ground inventory. Now, these are the two major building blocks of the buyers and the sellers of the ecosystem. On the periphery, the first periphery comes of the logistic providers, the warehouses, and the payment processes. Now, historically speaking, connecting these buyers and these sellers would mean that you would have to navigate in a labyrinth of disconnected legacy tools, emails, manual bids, follow ups, phone calls, missed information, checking websites to get the notifications and the corrigendums, etc. However, what we've built here changes all of this entirely. We've bought this entire spectrum of government and corporate buyers and every tier of seller onto the exact same native platform. By digitizing the end to end user journey, the interaction becomes entirely seamless. A government buyer can trigger a reverse auction, a corporate buyer can negotiate a structured contract, and OEM can fill bulk orders. All of this within the single frictionless interface that looks like our modern marketplace, but it carries the muscle of an enterprise engine. All of this seamless requirement is more than just matchmaking. There are a lot of other functionalities that come onto play, such as accounts payable, such as getting the finance or the payment statuses, uh, and moving around with the quality loops, the company's policy loops, and so on and so forth. So, when you wrap regulations, accounts payable, quality control into a single ecosystem, you don't just speed up procurement. You create a self governing, high velocity commerce engine built for the future. Now, if our previous look at the interconnected ecosystem showed us what modern commerce requires, now this slide answers the $1 million question. How do you build it without having to do it from scratch? Well, we do it by designing the future using AI assets. We are moving away from the era of rigid monolithic software. Instead, we are looking at a highly composable plug and play architecture driven by raw modular power. Look at the sheer scale of business assets at your disposal here. Right now, out of this box, this is the framework that hands you over 280 ready to use microservices to unbundle the traditional business silos, 200 plus event and triggers that ensure real time responsiveness, and a whopping 1,200 plus APIs to seamlessly tie your existing IT estate together. But connectivity is just about half the battle won. What truly future proofs the architecture layer of the Open Business Impact AI is our purple fabric. It comprises of the enterprise knowledge garden, the digital experts, and all managed by an LLM optimization hub and strict enterprise governance. We are injecting contextual intelligence directly into your daily operations at a foundational level. Now, the question comes, where does Liferay figure out in all of this? Now, when we mapped this composable vision, we found Liferay to be the absolute best fit for EMAC.ai compliance, architectural extensibility, and feature differentiation perspective. Liferay provides world-class digital experience wrapper, and ICPX perfectly extends Liferay to deliver deep, specialized enterprise-grade corporate procurement features. Ultimately, this gives your business the agility to compose, scale, and pivot your commerce experience faster than the market changes. So, in the previous slide, I started off on talking about Purple Fabric's contextual AI platform, right? Every enterprise today is rushing to deploy AI. That's the new buzzword. But let's be honest here. A lot of us are hitting the walls. They're hitting the walls with scattered data silos, rising consumption cost, and single vendor lock ins, and massive compliance risks. And enter Purple Fabric, Intellect's enterprise grade open business platform, AI platform. This isn't about generating generic text. It's about delivering secure, decision grade intelligence that yields measurable business results across your product, compliance, operations, and customer experience. Now, how does Purple Fabric do all of this? It does this via four agents. I'm just going to quickly talk about it. Well, agents might not be the correct word. There are four components. The first of them is the enterprise knowledge card, no, the EKG. Now, traditionally, AI struggles with your data, which is scattered across databases, emails, voice notes. There are some regulatory PDFs, there is some unstructured chat, etc. Now, EKG ingests all of it, whether it be structured, semi structured, unstructured, and applying human like first principles thinking to triangulate the context, it transforms the raw data into real time knowledge as a service. So, well, layered on top of that knowledge base and the or the EKG are the digital experts, enterprise digital experts. These are multi-agent AI teammates that clone the human perspective and expertise. By connecting multiple specialized agents to collaborate like via a Socratic dialogue method, the purple fabric achieves an astonishing 95% plus accuracy in the output, all with complete human in the loop auditability. But, well, all of this is good. You have the knowledge garden, you have the digital experts. But how do you scale it without the runway costs? You do it via the LLM optimization hub. Our hub lets you benchmark, pair, and hot swap the best fit LLMs for specific tasks, successfully conquering AI's triple constraints: the speed, the accuracy, and the cost. And finally, we wrap all of this entire ecosystem into the enterprise governance, which is your ultimate shield. Operating securely within your own VPC, it enforces strict role based access, built in PII masking, prompt defense, and real time audit trails. Your data remains strictly yours. In sectors like financial services, middle and back office operations, which eat up of about 40% of the total expenses. Purple Fabric is already in production today, automating complex workflows, saving thousands of employee hours, and fundamentally shifting companies from exploring AI to deploying it with undeniable purpose. So, after talking about purple fabric, let's have a look at the composable low code integration product, the iTurmeric. This is a truly composable world. Integration the speed dictates your time to market. iTurmeric hands your technical team an advanced, user friendly SDK studio to visualize, design, test, and deploy user journeys without getting bogged down by heavy manual coding. It effortlessly handles massive range of integration patterns right out of the box, whether that's publishing APIs, rule-based routing, the complex data transformation, turning what used to be weeks of backend work into hours of rapid visual composition. Here on your screen, what you see is something right out of the SDK where you can actually visualize every step that you're taking to write your code and to get a feature working. Isn't that just fantastic? All right. So over to you, Shubham, on how Liferay is embedded in the procurement journey.
Okay. So how Liferay is actually being leveraged here in the procurement journey for every stakeholder is something that we are going to talk in this slide. So Liferay acts as a gateway for all the different kinds of stakeholders or personas in your system, so that they can be channelized into specific segments where they can actually access all the procurement related features that we've created as part of this product. So we have different kinds of personas, like there will be buyers, there are going to be sellers, and maybe there also you need a drill down, like maybe there will be primary buyers, there might be secondary buyers, and so on and so forth. Then from the organization point of view, there might be users who will be specifically managing your categories and the inventories and some other very specific attributes of your procurement system. So you'll have user or personas related to those accesses as well. So what we do using Liferay is we manage all these different kinds of users. We do the authentication as well as authorization part of allowing users to access different kinds of services and the functionalities that are available for them using a very secure role-based access control that is built in within the platform. Now, from the authentication point of view, we do have an encrypted database level authentication that we use to authenticate users or ask them to log in within the system. But in case you want to use a very specific, maybe an identity management system, which could be an LDAP or maybe an Active Directory or any kind of an identity management system that you want to bring in, or maybe multi-factor authentication or maybe a device-based authentication. So we'll be able to plug in those systems as well, so that we can authenticate users from whatever sources or systems against which you want them to be authenticated. And once they are logged into our system, then we channelize them to different roles or different um, segments, so that we can take the users to the actual segments of the procurement journey that is relevant to them. So this thing that once we are able to log in, once the users are able to log into the system, that is when we'll be able to do the further branching of our actions that is there for a specific user. Like maybe if somebody is logging in from the seller side, they'll be able to manage all the different kinds of product specifications, the catalog that are there. Maybe there we have another delegated user who will be going to take care on the orders that we are receiving. So all those different kinds of activities are bundled into the access point of the point of contact that is there, so that as soon as user logs in, they're able to navigate to the right set of functionality to manage the procurement system. So from seller side, they'll be able to manage your procurement related metadata. From the buyer side, they'll be able to explore the catalog, they'll be able to compare different products or services that they want to explore, and then maybe go to the cart and proceed with the order of that particular products that they want to purchase. And this also marks as a very seamless transition to all the other systems that we've integrated as part of ICPX. So the end users that are there, they won't be able to identify, or it's going to be a very seamless experience for these users to log into their procurement systems discreetly and access all the different functionalities that we've created from a catalog or the procurement point of view. And the system then quietly takes the control from Liferay to the other systems that are there, which can be there for your purchase requisition request, the kind of approvals that are going to be floated. So like maybe there is a category update that we've done. So there are going to be workflows that we are creating, and these all are created using some configuration based interfaces, so that whenever new processes are required or something needs to be reused, it can be done quickly with on a modular and a microservices driven way. So the flow quietly takes you to from the procurement interfaces to purchase requisition and other systems that are there, like inventory, or in case you've configured for reverse auction, or you've configured for RFQ, or you've configured for negotiations. So it's going to invoke those systems, those channels, those media, so that we can do this kind of a data exchange with those systems, or validate data against those systems that we want to integrate with. And then once the fulfillment is required to be done, then we bring in other call to actions or other triggers that are there to uh, to ship these products, to create acceptances, to create contracts, and then finally on we move on to the invoices and payment side. So it's a combination of different microservices that are working together seamlessly from the end user point of view, and we quietly take the flow of control based on the kind of procurement we are doing. Like maybe if, and it all depends on the kind of configurations that you've done within your uh, marketplace or your procurement system that we've created for you. Now, in the next slide, what we are going to see is all those products, all those capabilities that are bundled into the same offering. So, the what we are talking about in the previous slide was how the users are going to access an access channel. It can be a web-based or a mobile-based view. And then we are taking some onboarding of the primary and secondary users, and then we are ultimately taking users to the different sets of functionalities that are there. How we are able to make all those, or how we are able to achieve all those things, is by the built-in capabilities that we have as a single platform. So whenever you unzip our platform, whenever you unzip Liferay, this is everything that you get as part of the built-in capabilities. You have a content management system that helps us create your access channels, like maybe the pre-login experiences or the post-login experiences. Maybe there needs to be a very static access point where we are talking about FAQs or the inventories, or how the procurement actually works for a particular organization. So we create all those experiences using this content management system that helps us create a very modern user and information experience with all those accessibility and other industry standard guidelines that you want to follow. Then there is a digital asset management piece, which is also going to take care of your documents as well. So there was, when we talk about a procurement kind of a use case, there are different kinds of documents or different kinds of assets that are there. The assets can be product media, like maybe 4 or 5 catalog images along with an SOP document, or maybe some other product brochures that are there. So all those assets, we call them as assets because it could be a combination of media files, videos, documents, GIF files, and other different file formats as well. So we manage all those different assets using a DAM, which is a digital asset management, that allows us to categorize your entire repository into different folders, and different child folders, so that we can, whenever there is a modification in a product media, you don't, and maybe that media is being referred by your catalog pages, maybe it's being referred at your content pages, maybe it's there in your order and inventory pages. At every places of usage, this change is going to be propagated, because there is a revision, or a version management that we have incorporated as part of the asset management that we have built in within the platform. And then all the content and the digital asset that we've created for a particular use case gets combined as in the commerce ecosystem as well. So with commerce, we have catalogs, we have channels, we have currency management, we have discount enablement that we can bring in, we have product specification, variations in products. So all those things that you usually need whenever you want to create or configure a specific catalog for a very specific category or a very specific audience, you'll be able to do all those configurations using the commerce engine that is there. And then we have a personalization engine, like maybe if we talk about a government procurement kind of an interface. Whenever there is a buyer who happens to be from BFSI, or there is a buyer who happens to be from the maybe defense side of the industry, the kind of experiences, the kinds of the pieces of information that needs to be rendered, it needs to be very specific to those personas. So we this is the personalization engine using which on the same landing pages, on the same widgets, we see different kinds of contents, different kinds of functionalities based on the differentiated segments that we have created within the system. And all of these things, the contents, digital assets, product metadata, product specifications, SOP documents, and all the other metadata that we create during this entire journey is indexed in a real time, on a real time basis. And the experiences are cascaded as an enterprise search functionality. So we have an enterprise search component as well that helps us create context aware searches, predictive searches, and now with the newer version of Elasticsearch, we will also be able to take care of semantic experiences as well. So this is also something that is a part of the platform and helps us in identifying the right kind of product, the right kind of information on our procurement channels. So with this, I again hand it over to Subarna again.
Okay. Thanks, Shubham. You spoke, and that was very informative to learn more so much about Liferay. Now that we're talking about Liferay, I quickly wanted to show you where Liferay is placed in the overall gambit of products. You see catalog management here in the middle, and that's where Liferay is positioned. Now that I've opened up this slide, this was basically me pulling back the curtains for us to have a look at the actual engine which is driving this transformation on the screen. This is the ICPX architecture blueprint. If you look at the top layer, uh, we are driving a headless omnichannel experience layer where the buyers or the sellers are accessing the platform via a desktop or a mobile app or a M site, interacting with the system and the underlying business logic, which remains completely unified throughout our experience and inquiry APIs. Moving down to the heart of the system, you'll see the domain driven design. We have completely unbundled the corporate procurement into granular, independent domain microservices, covering everything from user and organization management to catalog to contract to order management. And at its very foundation, we have Purple Fabric, we have the security services, which are enabling us to run all of this flexibly yet securely. Hence, the architecture that we are having here, it brings in the flexibility. You can compose, scale, evolve your e-commerce or your commerce ecosystems without breaking the code. Shubham, now over to you.
So coming to this slide, I think we have covered in length about what the platform is, what all components are coming out of the box, what all things do you get once you unzip our platform. So I think more or less we've covered this thoroughly, and maybe we can skip this slide and move on to the next one that is there as part of our agenda today. And moving on to the next slide, this is something that these are some of our new features that Liferay has launched. Some of them are already available in GA, some of them are in beta, some of them are still towards the finalization of their development schedules that are there. Now, first and foremost, the key element or the key feature that Liferay has recently launched is the AI Hub. Now, we can talk about like accessing our catalogs. Maybe when we talk about some self services, users can fill up some forms, like maybe their request for new categories or feedbacks, or maybe the other procurement related self service that we want to bring into our use cases. Now, Liferay has launched AI Hub, which is basically a low code designer to create your own AI agents. You can bring in your own LLM models. So the strategy is bring your own AI and plug it with Liferay DXP using the AI Hub. So this has a lot of other comprehensive features are there. We'll be able to play with tokens that will take care of all the other tokens that we have for your LLM models. But the key, from a functional point of view, the key use case that we are going to solve is that you'll be able to avail the use cases that you've built on top of the platform using a conversational mechanism. Like maybe from a seller perspective, maybe they want to onboard new products, and from a product point of view, they want to add new product media, product description, the SEO, and the auto tagging that needs to be there, so they can directly do this activity instead of a batch upload or instead of a front end UI. They can also do opt for a conversational mechanism where they can write down their intent. There is going to be an intent parser that is going to be there as part of the platform, and you'll be able to plug it. You'll be able to interact with that bot and execute whatever changes you want to do with your use case that is there. And the same goes is also going to be inherited at the buyer side, the end user side. And the key building block behind Liferay's AI Hub is again a very standardized protocol, which is MCP. So MCP lets you connect different solutions, different tools, along with different LM models. So Liferay by default is now MCP enabled, which lets your LM models consume the data points that you are generating on Liferay, and that all is going to be covered through a robust enterprise governance, which means that you will be able to define what kind of data points or what kind of scopes are going to be accessible to your LM models, and what needs to be secured from LMs to crawl or to access from a conversation or from a request processing point of view. Like maybe there might be some products that might, or some catalogs that you don't want from a very confidential government ministry like defense, or maybe other use cases that are other ministries that are there. So you can always revoke permissions that LM models cannot consume those data points, while the other catalogs, the lesser, or the catalogs that needs to be a bit more open, you can always grant them permission so that your LM models can consume those data points. And that is how we are governing the permissions or the scopes between Liferay and the LM models that are there. So MCP is the building block on top of which we have created this AI hub. You can always use the standard MCP offering of Liferay to connect your own LM models, or maybe create your own conversational bots or use cases around generative AI models, or maybe the RAG layers that you want to bring in. Now, the next leg from a procurement point of view could be you also want to orchestrate campaigns that are very specific to a buying audience, to a specific segment of users who want to do any activity with your procurement solutions. For that, we have content marketing platform that we've recently released, and there are more updates coming to this product that will help you orchestrate different kinds of dynamic contents, like maybe those can be hyper personalized nuggets, or maybe very personalized content that you want to target to a specific audience, or maybe based on the kind of activity that a particular user is doing, you want to capture that activity and change the behavior that, or change the experience that this user should have once they are doing an interaction with your procurement use case. So content marketing platform is also something that is going to make these kinds of use cases a bit easier by bringing these components out of the box natively within Liferay. And then once a user is there, once you have customers, when they are who are interacting with your procurement places, your catalogs that you've created, the products and services that you've onboarded, then comes the Liferay data platform, which is basically a very user friendly interface that helps consolidate different kinds of interactions that are happening with your access channels, maybe from a pre-login point of view to a post-login point of view, how users are coming to your procurement platform, which categories they are going the most, where what kind of maybe other products that they are interested in, are they actually clicking on the recommended product section that you are showcasing to them, are they actually going there, and are they actually adding products to cart. So you'll always know where the disconnect is there, how the users are actually dropping off from the journey that you've curated for them using the content orchestration CMP at the first place. And this is the data that is going to be of prime importance, so that you can kind of extend the interaction, or maybe bring in more value that needs to be delivered to your users from a product or from a procurement point of view, so that you can actually maybe help users locate your catalogs faster. The kind of maybe if a user is specifically interested in a specific category of products, once he logs in, now you know that these are his preferences, you'll straight away personalize the experience for them, so that they directly land onto those specific category catalog that you've created. And then a digital sales room, like maybe there are RFQ related processes that are there, and users have requested for a quotation once they've logged in with your products and services, and we can create a very personalized digital sales room which will be basically a very it's going to be a tenant based sales room, a digital sales room, which is going to be specific for a deal size. So like for a specific deal, for a specific RFQ process, this is the interaction that has happened so far. These are the documents that have been uploaded by the prospects or the customers that are there, and this is where we stand as of now. So all those interactions are going to be consolidated from different areas of your procurement channel and consolidated in a single view in this digital sales room. And product information, again, just to enhance the way your information the information related to your products and services are being managed, is going to be enhanced using the PIM functionality that we have as part of our new initiatives. And recently we've also launched cloud native, which means in case you're there on AWS, Azure, or Google, or any CNCF Kubernetes infrastructure, we have our own cloud native services, so that you can have better scalability, you can have better spinning up of other Liferay associated services using automated scripts and Helm charts that helps you better manage your Liferay services on scale. And while we have a very robust product as of now, as part of ICPX, the procurement solution that we have, the journey, specifically from a Liferay point of view, has never been extremely smooth. Why? Because the kind of product that we've created is something which is an enterprise grade product, which can be readily absorbed by any kind of industry, be it a government, be it a public or a private sector. It can be easily absorbed by any industry. And in order to create such a diversified product, there were at multiple times certain bottlenecks that we wanted to resolve on the Liferay platform point of view. And that is where some of the leading functionalities that we offer now, the team is offering now as part of ICPX, like the support for a decimal quantity. Like if somebody wants to buy 5.5 liters of a specific product, they'll be able to add that to a specific to their cards. Units of measurement, wherein we can define maybe 1 gram of a particular product is of how much value. So that unit of measurement and better security enhancements from a streamlined DevSecOps point of view is something that we have improved on our part. And better comparison of products, so that we can easily highlight the price differences, the L1, L2, L3 categories that are there from a bidding point of view. So all these functionalities that we see as of now were not something that were existing once we started off with the team started off with the product. These were actually value additions that were developed over a period of time by constant discussions with the core Liferay product team behind commerce, wherein where the team were actually conveyed as the idea, like how this idea is there, what is going to be the potential business value, how it's going to be realized by other use cases and the end customers that are going to be there. And that is what has evolved Liferay commerce as a better platform than what it was when we started with the development of ICPX. So that is again a value creation. When such products are coming and they are creating value, they just don't create value for the customers, they create value not just for the customer, they create value for the entire ecosystem. And that is where the product, you can see various improvements, various evolutions that we've done across multiple channels. We've streamlined a lot of bottlenecks, we've fine-tuned a lot of microservices and APIs, and then we've brought on improvements in the underlying platforms that we've used to launch these market procurement use cases. So I think, yeah, with that, I again hand it over to Subarna.
Hi, and now after talking so much, let's see a couple of snippets of the business actually transforming, getting transformed. We'll see a AI use case. We'll talk a little bit about the procurement, the different roles that you will be able to view, rate contracts, and so on and so forth. To start us off, we will run through a case of market sanity. Now, everywhere, catalogs are uploaded by sellers. And it is of utmost importance that as a buyer, especially as a corporate or a government buyer, if you're going and you're searching for a catalog, if there is something that you wish to procure, the information is correct. And we do believe that sellers have the right kind of knowledge and the information and they're trying to upload the optimal things. However, their things can be a little tricky at places. So, a built in layer of AI helps us prevent any misdirections. In the video now playing in front of you, you see that this is the home screen of the ICPX product and we have the login button. Currently, just have a look that the menu is very short. After login, you'll see that the menu, and you've selected a role, you'll see that the menu changes. This is because we have inbuilt RBAC, which means that every user, every role is separate. The view that a user gets as per his role is also separate. And uh, once a role is selected, then the required, you see that the menu has changed. There are a lot more items on the header, which means that a person can do a lot more other things. Here, we are going to add a product, and this is built on Liferay. So when you see that a product gets added with the brand, with the category, usually those are the two main factors with which you select a product. After that, you go ahead, you add the HSN, and you are almost close to creating the baseline for a product. So here, for the sake of example, the user is selecting 66, which is for umbrellas, walking sticks, and so forth. However, the category selected is electronic items, and the product service name that he's trying to enter is a Dell laptop. These things do not match, and there can be anomalies here. Let's watch and see if the system is capable of predicting them. This step that we've created, what does it help? Okay, so here what the seller is now doing is that he's updating the product information, a small information, which is the short description, and a longer description. Both of them are uploaded. He also uploads the specifications, that is, what kind of a OS it has, what kind of a RAM it has, and so on and so forth. Once all of these are uploaded, you see there are three ticks and we are at the variant creation. Any laptop or any product may have variants. A shirt can have multiple colors, a product can have sizes, or different configurations. We also allow the addition of seller SKU ID, which means if the seller is maintaining his data with a separate SKU ID, he can maintain it here as well, so that when he's supplying the goods, it's easier for him to translate and get the right SKU ID. The pricing is also taken care of at a variant level, so that if a variant is a little more expensive or is differently priced owing to the basic features, the same can be reflected properly. Right? The unit of measurement also is an interesting feature which Shubham had spoken about. So, the unit of measurement can also be added and corrected depending on what kind of a product is being sold. The pricing, the minimum order quantity, the maximum order quantity, the available stock, all of these are things which are very familiar for the vendor. And these information, when you have them ready to use, they can help ensure that the procurement doesn't go unfulfilled. We will upload the image of a camera. If you remember, we had uploaded the HSN of an umbrella. The category was that of laptops. The name was that of a Dell laptop. And here we are. And we are trying to continue, right? Once we hit save and continue, there are some additional information that the system is asking for us. Sometimes in a package, the product may have an extra charger, some extra batteries, and so on and so forth. So those things can be added over here, and the buyer will have clear knowledge of what he is about to procure. Once all of this is done, we you see a second button saying catalog AI agent. That button is called. Now here are the recommendations from the agent. He says that the image validation is not matched. It says it's a mismatch with the description. It says the image is that of a Samsung Galaxy smartphone and not of a Dell laptop. So that was correctly detected. The second piece, so an image to a category match is showing, image to a description match is captured. The match of with the category is not flagging up because it was a match. This was indeed created in the laptops category. Now, the HSN to the category did not match up. The HSN was for walking sticks, but the category, there is even a suggestion that the correct HSN for computers should be 8471. Other than that, you will see short description, brand, and price level matches and mismatches also, which will help a seller and thereby also help a buyer in getting the correct kind of catalogs onto the platform for their purchase requisitions, for their rate contracts, for their tenders, and other kinds of procurements that they might be getting involved in. Okay, so we just witnessed the AI in action when it comes to market sanity. There are more interesting and highly valuable features which we are delivering in CPX, which are around rate contracts and purchase requisitions. We all of know that rate contracts are the go-to procurement method for corporations for repeat purchases, where the quantity and the price of the product are fixed with the seller. Now, sellers often face situations when there is something about their offering in the rate contract that changes. It may be the packaging, it may be a forwarding charge, it may be some other kind of charge. But what happens is, of course, we do not change everything about a product in a rate contract, but there are minor details which get changed. Now, how do we ensure that this is also marked and this is also traceable? ICPX offers features which are helpful to not just buyers but also sellers in terms of editing the product details and sending them for an approval. Now, this entails transparency and auditability to the very minutest feature. As you can see on my screen, we've logged in with the seller's account, and we will be going ahead and making a change to one of our rate contract. You see, there's a rate contract product list, which means that all these products have been used in a rate contract, right? So there is one product which we are going to edit. Okay, and once we edit it, we are going to change some features about it so that we can see what is the impact. Now, as you can see, most of the fields are grayed out, which means that in a rate contract not everything is editable, only few fields are editable. Here I'm going to upload an image which is going to be different, so a product packaging can change, so a different image will help identify that. And there also might be a case where I'm going to change in some prices. So let that be done. Okay, now the image is up. Okay, now I'll come to the packaging charge. The packaging charge I'll put, and the forwarding charge I'll also add. So I've just made some minor changes. Now, as soon as I hit submit, this catalog does not get printed. It goes for an approval. It goes for an approval to the admin of the buy in the buyer's community, or rather the company with which the rate contract is happening. So the buyer, the admin of the buyer side will now get to, if you see in my next login, you will see that I'm logging in via the role of a catalog approver, right? Which means that I get to, in that role, we get to make corrections, we get to accept or reject the corrections that the seller has made. Now, once I log in, I will go to my menu and pick out the option for viewing the products which are pending for my approval. And in that, I will just scroll. Let me get to the product. Yeah, you see that there is a special vehicle hiring which is pending for approval. And one for approving, I need to give it a new status which is approved. And I need to leave in a comment which will be, say it's okay for approval, you can go ahead or something like that, and I'm going to hit submit. Now, only after this, the new changes for the catalog start percolating across the purchase. Okay, so this was one of the features for the sellers. Now, what about the buyers, right? We should talk about the buyers because they are the ones who are fueling the sales. Now, when we talk about transparency, another helpful feature is that in the marketplace, in the ICPX marketplace, we get to view. You will see that I am opening up the product list. And when I open up the product list, here is a list of products that is listed on my website. Okay, and let's just scroll through it and see what all. See, we have location and other parameters as the filters that we can use. And within this, you will also get to see that there are rate contract catalogs, right? See, this has rate contract listing written, and it's a laptop where there is a rate contract. Now, in this, if I scroll down, you will be able to see that there is a documentation, right? Now, the benefit of having, see, there's an LOA document. LOA document, having it right on the site gives you transparency, gives you authenticity, and it gives the confidence to all the buyers. Now, within an organization, also, if different buyers or different departments come and have a look at the LOA letter that they want to have a look at, it is very easy. They don't have to reach within departments and ask this person to that person. And it makes a lot of things much more faster. Now, practically speaking, LOAs do undergo amendments. Now, today, any of these amendments to a LOA document is a route full of emails, phone calls, excessive documentation. However, in CPX, we resolve all of this via the LOA approval feature as well. When we see you at a practical demo, we will showcase that to you, and that is where we will also explain a lot of other features which are present in ICPX in the procurement domain. Thanks.